Well, greetings everyone, and welcome this extended weekend, the Memorial Day holiday. Um those of you that will be off Monday, I know you're starting your long weekend, so let's get started here with uh, We the People, presented by the Diamond Factory. And as you know, we are live on YouTube, LinkedIn, as well as Facebook. Um, so we'll get our little commercial stuff out of the way. You can see our subscribe and donate down there on the bottom. Cash App, $ JEK3, which is JEKII. And all donations are welcome and go to promoting our program. With that being said, let's get our guest for tonight, Mr. Patrick Richard Garcia. Mr. Garcia is here by way of he's one of our Canadian neighbors. We've had some Australian neighbors on, and so let's go up north here. Uh, Patrick, how you doing this evening?
So far, so good. I'm pretty excited to be here. I'm glad you taking me on as your guest. So thank you for having me tonight. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
so as I was asking you earlier, we're talking about the weather. It seems we go from one extreme to the other. Except for down here in San Diego, we're pretty constant, which is why I've been out here as long as I have. But uh, why don't you, before we get into the actual show here, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm not for that. I'm a two-time international best-selling author, mentor, speaker, and a learning disability champion. With the last part, learn disability champion, I'll keep it short, which I'll mention more as questions go on. Um, when I was a kid, I was diagnosed with a learning disability when I was 5 years old. Moving forward with life as a kid, teenager, and then graduating from college, I got out of that label, and now I'm doing great things with it, and really giving back to the community where they need help in terms of showing kids and parents that I made that happen in terms of achieving and accomplishing a lot of great things in life, and knowing that there's help out there and being a role model for these kids. I'm here to really share more of my story and just really giving that like sharing that great hope and impact that people need. So that's why I'm here.
Yeah, that is one of the things that we do find. People uh, tend people need hope. Uh, as a matter of fact, I did a show where uh, people use hope as a weapon rather than as a means to bridge a gap. So, tell us a little bit about how you started True North Philosophy. Velocity, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I had a lot of different concepts and different ideas about where to start. I would say it was just really looking at the whole scheme of the world and looking at how growth and development are becoming, let's just say, I'll say obsolete. I believe it's more of there's more ways to accomplish more with what we have today and what we have from the past. I have observed of how much um let's just say information that we have today, and because of the overload of too much info from many from people that are out there, like experts and gurus, which I'm sure a lot of people have discovered that. I really wanted to bring forth a new way of having that. So having this element of touch of a touch of human interaction, but at the same time have more technology and artificial intelligence involved, and combine those together and figuring ways how to incorporate a lot of great things. And making sure that I can tap into human potential at a much faster pace, but make it efficient at the same time. So it's more, I would say more scientific based, could be more scientific. I would say it's really just putting it all together so I can really help people. It could be anyone, but I'm more importantly targeting those who want to be entrepreneurs and those currently are ones today, just to ensure that they are more equipped and ready to tackle everyday challenges because every day is a new day and there's always new changes that happens. So we need to be ready and adapt to it as fast as possible.
Adapting. That a very interesting word. And I say that because I used adaptation in order to turn my life around. And what I did was adapt my skills that I had in the street to a viable occupation. I needed something that provided that constant hustle, but also let me be creative. But it also provided a steady income, and it wasn't something that was, for all accounts, boring. You know, uh, which is why a lot of kids uh, we use the term in the street hustle. So, how did you adapt using that type of mentality, and how did that become True North Velocity?
Well, I would
I
say
probably
hustle has
threw a lot,
different ways.
I threw a lot at you right there.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways. It really just depends on how you approach it. I know there's a lot of people use it as a way of being inspired, doing great things with it, being the best version of themselves. Could be athletic, could be the business person, entrepreneur out there. I would say it's just really building those habits and being disciplined about how to come with it. And there are times where, of course, there are roadblocks that come in the way. And when those come along, it's really important to stay consistent and really making sure that when these roadblocks come along, it's good to deal with them upfront and really understand um, that may take time to take care of those things. But at the same time, when it could be a big or small one, really just tackle parts of the time, and then while doing that, you still go through everyday life. And and I know it's with combining velocity and true north together into true north velocity. Finding a true north is very important. We always have different whys, which can happen when you get older. But having a real like one that's consistent throughout life, it's really important to have that. And adding velocity to the equation, it's just really ensuring that yeah, there's such thing as baby steps, which is obviously you're building that. But with velocity, it's merely just more of getting those baby steps into more uh, efficient ways to make it faster. And there's always ways to do things properly, and there's not one way. So with how I approach with clients and main individuals is that there's no um, one set box, but there's always customized ways and personalized plans to make sure that whatever issues you have or problems, there's always a way to get things done and really reverse engineer everything into its bit detail and then really incorporate many other methods. So finding pieces together and make it work to make sure that you're getting everything you want to get out of it.
Now, entrepreneurship in my generation meant something totally different to your generation because you have so many different opportunities. Not so, I mean, nowadays, you carry around a computer in your hand. there's almost nothing that you can't do with your phone. Whereas in my generation, I remember the key punch cards when you needed a suitcase to carry around a program. So, can you tell us how entrepreneurship has progressed for your generation, and how uh, what you consider entrepreneur by today's vernacular?
Personally, my experience, have observed a lot of different eras of entrepreneurship. I can imagine like back then, there's not a lot of approvals for funding or anything like that. It's just give anything up and then just go all in. And everything back then was just by mail, by any any kind of transportation to deliver goods and services by whatever means possible. It may take long, but things get done. And then as technology is incorporated in each new era, and as economies around the world look more, let's say, expansive in terms of global reach and markets expanding worldwide, I have understood that with with that happening, there are, of course, now there's more opportunities to get grants and funds, but also due to the fact that now a big part of it was social media, they glamorize entrepreneurship. A lot of them don't understand that it's not just you just create this and then boom, you have all of this wealth and things that can come to you. It really comes down to building your discipline, building your network, your contacts, giving great service, giving value to your customers, and that's the fundamental foundation of every entrepreneur in every era. Like without those, then it's very difficult to connect to every generation that wants to buy your products. It can be the boomers, Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, sound generation are just still alive, some of them. And it's really looking at how can those ones today can adapt to um, providing value and service to every generation. And it's quite challenging because obviously with everything moving towards more on mobile devices, it's just really making sure that it's mainly user friendly for a lot of the people that majority have phones and really learn how to access it and figuring things out and having some kind of way to interact so then a lot of people won't get lost and they feel that they know what to do instead of going to a store they have everything online. So it's a really uh crucial, I think, a crucial time, like, right now, because I really foresee the next 5 years, 2030 will be a big different story in terms of how things will be turning out, so it's really a great time now to really look at entrepreneurship as not just, uh, a new way of things, but it's also I would say a new movement to really see what can AI can really replace in the near future.
You see, you, you're talking to AI to a guy that's been around like three quarters of a century. I mean, I find it remarkable. I mean, you can get AI now that sounds like you. I mean, all you have to do is say a few words, and the next thing you know, it sounds just like you. If you write something down, or you can submit a few words, and it sounds like you. So when you have all of these, I mean, hustle to me used to be, it was something personal. I mean, it was a hands-on experience. How do you, like now you talk about reviving that, that kind of hustle instinct. But how do you revive that when things are so impersonal now? I mean, you can't even, if you call customer service for the average company, I don't care if it's from Amazon to, ZZ Plumbing, the first thing you usually get is a robot, or an automatic answering machine, AI.
Well, it's just really looking at the main part of why you're doing business in the first place, and really touching upon with making things low and personal. I believe it's just really looking at what companies are doing to ensure that they're still retain their brand, retain their reputation. And I believe there are times where a lot of them move way too fast to a point where they're missing out other ways to incorporate it. I believe a lot of them just doing a lot of trial and error, and you still have, I believe, like a hotline for human interaction, but that but most of them take a while to you. I believe I remember a lot of times when I was calling like my own like bills and customer service, I had to exhaust every option, and then they had to bring me to someone in person. And I noticed with those ones now, it's taking much more longer. I didn't forget 10 years ago is actually like much less time to wait for someone, but now it takes a long time, even for like very basic issues that I tried resolving but I couldn't. And there's a lot of people calling for help, and it's very interesting just to really see as much they wanna they really want to give the human experience. I noticed with a lot of them, it's just the wait time for to have actually someone there. So I can understand why a lot of times they rely on technology to resolve almost every issue up front to ensure that whatever they need help with, it can be done. So it's just streamlining certain things and find a balance of making sure that they're accounting for everything that they could think to resolve, but at the same time they want to make sure that everything is efficient on their end. And I would say it's still an ongoing process, and I believe every company is learning that now. So it's pretty interesting to see what their next wave of how to apply and make it better.
So, what do you think are some of the most common myths that people believe about, hustle, and how do these myths hold them back? But by hustle, once again, I mean, getting your business out there, making sure that you're, on the cutting edge. I mean, when I first just started thinking about, you know, what was it, the .com era, and then now you have a whole different era, and a whole different genetics for running your website. So how do I mean, how do we get back that human experience that we all seem to crave? I mean, you know, some of us, I think the problem is that you assume that everybody is on the same level. And right now, people are still trying to catch up with progress. And, that's why it takes you so long to get to a human voice, or, because as I said, I don't think it makes uh, room for the human factor, that human error type thing. Am I making myself clear there? Am I got a muddle?
Yeah, yeah, I understood that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no, that's a good thought you mentioned. I will because obviously I'm just thinking more of the big corporate side. I would say more on those who are like small to medium size businesses, corporations, is really to observe what the big ones are doing. I would say to really be still part of that market and providing that value. It's always good to look at different ways to improve the experience. Trial and error. A lot of it's trial and error, and I believe it's an ongoing process to really observe the to observe all the data and the stats of what can you do to make it better because everyone's trying to be on top of each other, and in order to still be relevant and also providing the value, it's also understanding the full market because a lot of times a lot of these corporations, from my experience, they tend to miss out on a lot of small details, and when those either starting or currently in within the business landscape, there's a chance to really see what can be improved, which can also help determine whether you're being business or not. Let's say the next year or not, because as I mentioned, there's always people working on doing better. So it's as mentioned related to that the hustle part is to really be detailed to everything that's out there and really have a great team involved, a great team to really fully observe your actions and see what's out there, and then provide a lot of feedback. Because without that, even the feedback from not only your staff, but also your customers, your clients, and everyone else that's out there. So I would say really encouraging a lot of feedback from from your clientele is a great start to really see what's out there and really make tweaks and adjustments and really figure a way to make sure that everything operates at a on a most efficient manner, while at the same time you're still providing your best service and value to everyone that around you.
The reason why I'm kind of concentrating on probably, not the giant corporations, as you say, is because a lot of us, I mean, most entrepreneurs don't start out with that kind of capital. You have to you have to build your brand, you have to build your reputation, all those things, and then maybe you'll get noticed by a bigger company and get bought out like we did during the .com generation, or you know perhaps you keep building your own brand and you become a Facebook or an Amazon. But most people don't start out with those type of, I mean, you're asking for grants, you're asking for different, things pertaining to your field. So that's why I'm sorry if I threw you a curveball by kind of concentrating on the smaller guy there. Uh, but uh, this also brings me to self development. Uh, you coined the phrase self development saturation. What does that mean, and why can too much self help actually be counterproductive?
I think one statement I can mention is we are too biased for ourselves. And as much we do a lot of journaling, we do a lot of affirmations, meditations, and all of these things together to put into a whole holistic sense of growing ourselves and develop as a whole person. Uh, I would say eventually there'll be like a cap to growth. Not like forever. I'll say to a certain point, and then when it comes to that, obviously with also to add to the point, many people are feel that there really are coaches and out there, and a majority of them really share because of the experience. And I would never discredit the experience in terms of reasons why they're a coach in the first place. And of course, there's a lot of accredited places, a lot of accredited certifications out there that really display, oh, I'm a coach and all of that, and I'm a self development coach and all of that. And with a lot of people have different views, different perspectives, and a lot of times I notice a lot of these coaches really don't implement deep enough because a lot of them really stick to what they think, but a lot of them don't really dig deep for the person themselves that they're dealing with and providing that service. And I've read observed a lot of past greats that have done all the work, like Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, Les Brown, all the great people that have passed on the works of many generations of work of development. And yeah, I have noticed with the movement today that there's been a huge wave of these people going to the self development world, and now it becomes to a point where it's. I mean, I understand it's a marketable industry and profitable too. Also, there are also the opposite side. A lot of people get really into um, different schemes and scams and all of that, then uh, they tend to underpromise and not really deliver what they say because of these ways of marketing and all of the unnecessary things that really don't apply about why are you not tackling my problem in the first place. So I could say there's a lot of factors involved. There's too much to tackle with the oversaturation. Well, I would say the main part I mentioned is that there's a self bias involved, and we tend to think we're okay, but then when we ask other opinions, it sometimes questions our integrity and value because we have already built that. But then being challenged by different ways of thinking and different ways of that, we don't know what's right or wrong. So it's very tough to figure all that out at once, but rather to really keep your main core values involved and keeping it that, and then everything else that can come along, then you can fix it from there.
And so, how can someone tell when they're stuck in that loop? Constant, courses and books, without making any really real progress. And what's the first step to break free? As you mentioned, like uh, I remember, back once again going back in my generation, talking about, and using myself as an example, asking for someone's help used to mean a sign of weakness. That you didn't know what you were doing. That you couldn't figure it out for yourself.
Yeah, I've also read a book too, and well, multiple books that have say the same thing. If you're doing a lot of idling and buying these courses, which I was like I too back in the days, and now I'm just reversing that. If you're keep doing that all the time, then you're running away from the big problem, and the big problem lies within front of you, and a lot of times we just deny it. When we keep denying the big problem in front of us, we just don't want to do it because I have realized before the whole world shut down almost 5 years ago, having that commitment to change was very evident, and there wasn't really like a huge fear mongering concept out there, which now it's very prevalent. I'm sure you see it in the media and out there. A lot of fear mongering everywhere and a lot of manipulation with the media. Before that, it was just really just looking at ourselves and really um, look at the room and say, okay, this is what I need to do. I need to fix it now and deal with it. But today, with so much overload of content and media, social media, and news, and a lot of content that tackles the deep insecurities of people's problems, like showing out the lifestyle that people want, and and at times people want it because they either want that lifestyle or a certain amount of money or whatever the case may be, or a certain loved one or whatever thing they would desire, but they're not tackling the main part of why they don't have it. Is because they're not fixing what needs to be done. So without doing the most basic fundamental part of fully accepting the problem, then it's gonna be difficult to move forward from that.
Um, Adversity is a major theme in your work. Can you share a story of a setback you faced and how you turned it into an advantage?
A setback. Let's see. I've always referred to this story because of the way I've completed that whole journey in less than a year. So I was graduating my last year of university college days, 2015, and 2014 actually, 2014 and 2015. So I was graduating that year, already working on getting my degree, and I've always wanted to open a student group association because that was my big dream since I wanted to do that before I graduate because I'll never do it again. I opened it. I found a lot of great people to lead my vision I had. A lot of great marketing aspects out there. Got a lot of students involved in the events, and I noticed that there's a big demand for it, and I knew there's a need, which I felt compelled to do more than what I usually do while I'm handling work and relationship and all of that. So I had to juggle like three, four major responsibilities while doing this, and that was a challenge for me because I never had to do all this work. And so it's my first time to lead a team and do anything else and make sure everything comes together. And with asking for help, that was a big thing I've never been used to, but now I've leaned on to these people throughout that year. And to kind of close that story a bit, um, myself and a couple of people that are associated with the states, we brought a team from Toronto to Richmond, Virginia, to a spoken poetry slam competition and on that state, and it was a great thing because I, from what we were told, we were the only Canadian team to ever compete in history. Because apparently, I found out that we were the only association, but we never got a chance to go down there because no one took initiation, and it was a lot of work too. Like we had to pay our own fees, get a team set up, more like um, making sure that we do it the right way. And yeah, I brought a team down there. We have done really well in bringing people to the preliminaries and then the semis, and then we lost. And I was part of that too. I really bombed the whole speech. I memorized it by heart. I forgot it, and with that, we were out. But at the same time, it was a great accomplishment because throughout the year, we have never expected for us to be there. Never accomplished a lot in one year. Made history as well. And I believe that was a great thing because we had to fundraise in a short amount of time. I really convinced a lot of top people to give us money, sponsorships, and all that in a short amount of time. It was very scary just approach on the fly and ask that and then deliver emails and adjust. But I knew that I was set to make this happen. So it was really good to know that within that year I grew a lot and gave my appreciation to those who have continued to do the group. And it was amazing to see how much was there. And I realized that I can lead something, not only people, but I can lead a vision. So that's where I drew from that theme until today, just drawing how I can make a vision happen.
Wow, it's poetry, huh? Okay, yeah, all right. Uh, what kind of tools or mindset do you teach to help people reframe failure as a fuel rather than a roadblock?
I would I would I would say based on the individual, because every individual has different ways of doing things. I would need to look at and observe certain things that they do, certain things um that they do when they're stressed and not behaving properly. I would say like a bigger thing is to really look at the routine, which can really show how the person goes day by day. And because of the routine, the whole mindset really tells you the whole picture. So with knowing the routine, then I can modify and just say, okay, how about make it a bit more palatable, make it more not intensive, and then see what their habits are coming from for those routines. Let's say they wake up in the morning, they look at their phone, or they just do other things that pertain to the routine, and just really making sure that they start with those things and then incorporate more as they get better at them. And obviously, better to commit than to perfect it. And obviously, that takes time. So it's really sticking to the basic fundamentals. It's not complicated, but also we're really applying the different technology involved with say tracking and really having a certain civic communication tool to really make sure that they can check in and I can see how they do their observations. and just really feel that they're being heard and seen. I feel a lot of times when a lot of coaches offer like assistance and everything, they've they just they didn't do above and beyond most times. I mean, yeah, don't be wrong. It's about yeah the offer and value. But I would say just do above and beyond than just doing the most basic based on what you offer. If you go above and beyond with the little things, then they feel that they can do it. So it's just really sticking to what really works.
I'm going to go a little chauvinistic here because I want to talk about the men's issues and leadership. Um, I know, we are in, the time, where it's, everyone is equal, as far as in the employment area is concerned. But I've also found, I think, that a lot of our male leaders are in my age range or older. We have a president that's older than I am. I'm 78 years old. I mean, do you realize, just the rigors of getting to that point, getting to be in your 70s and your 80s, takes a certain toll on you. Now, men might not, want to admit it, but, once again, we're in a different age now where, it's okay if you're a man to ask for help. So, uh, can you speak on men's issues in today's world, and what do you think is the single uh, biggest challenge that men face right now?
Well, with men's issues, it's still expansive. I would say the problems are still growing. There's I don't recall that ever that it has never in par with the woman. That problems for both sides are still on par. I think it's on par, but still growing. And the biggest thing for men is, I believe, communicating properly. Communication is a big thing, and as much really out there to understand both natures of male and female. I believe communicating properly, efficiently, and not worry about how to react angrily or really feel offended. I think by understanding people's way of speaking and thinking, I believe it'll be a better world when we know how to just be a bit more calm and collective and not react. Because a lot of times I notice with men, they feel it's their ego. I mean, yeah, we need the ego to feed it because it needs us to be competitive and grow, and we really understand how we can defend our rights, our freedoms, our families, and our everything that we own and want to fight for. But at the same time, it's about really communicating properly, ensuring that whatever is out there to take everything away from us, it's also being prepared properly. And and now I'll say there's an ongoing thing of trying to convince women that there's ways to do things. I think trying to convince a different party that their way of thinking is right. There's I found it appalling because I seen it in social media. There's always discussions and things and out there, like yeah, it's weird to have discussions and really share opinions and argue with them. But at the end of the day, it's become a distraction for some people, and at most times they they forget what values and standards they stand for originally before they get influenced by other things around them. And and yeah, I've just seen that whole movement of just different movements that are out there to really change how things were for both male and female. So I would it's Yeah, I can go on and on with that. It's there's so much of it, but I can say communication is a big thing to improve.
So, how does the modern leadership need to evolve uh, to meet the needs of men who feel disconnected from, the purpose or from the community?
Sorry, can you repeat again, James? Sorry, I missed that part.
I said, how does modern leadership need to evolve to meet the needs of men who feel disconnected from the community or from a real purpose?
If I, modern, I would say leadership as a whole. Well, moving to modern now, there it doesn't really change a lot. I believe it has to do with the kind of style that people really not used to. Now a lot of them are like authoritative, like I just mentioned Trump, and then now with my Prime Minister Carney, I'm not getting into political or anything. It's bit more authoritative based, and a lot of people are not really used to that based on where they are. Obviously, in other countries, they're more like ruling and many years of different regimes. It's something where a lot of people are not getting used to this kind of style, and they feel if they voice anything, then they feel afraid of losing everything they have and getting caught by it. And with now a lot of people filming and recording, I believe now with all that happening, because to either promote something or to tear someone down, I believe with leaders out there, they it can be in political or in companies, or it can be nonprofits. I believe it's really just adding the personal element of just adding more empathy, but also same time is you gotta be assertive in certain things and really learn how to listen to the issues at hand with the men in the community, and really truly understanding that with with uh with really looking at different lenses and perspectives. And that's where monitoring needs to really improve on, is to expand the mind and not just stick too narrowly what's benefit for you and the association, but also for other people. Because of the day, as much as much you want change and really create impact, or it could be any other kind of way to handle things properly. It's really just comes down to just fully be an active listener and really look at why are men afraid to be out there and display that leadership for themselves. I think it's a big thing to lead themselves out there to conquer whatever they want in the world in their life.
Yeah. Once again, not being afraid to fail, I think is a big part. Um, but now, usually if you have a business, that means you also have a certain labor market. How have you seen the labor market? It's shifting rapidly. I mean, uh, what friends or what are you seeing that entrepreneurs must adapt when it comes to finding your labor force? I mean, you know, McDonald's is becoming robotic now. You don't see, you don't see a lot of people making the Big Mac anymore.
Hmm. Well, from what I read and observed in different articles and news out there, well, credible news, I've I have seen adjustments of people not seeing where the markets are shifting, because obviously they see, oh, AI will like they see the headlines, but they don't see the other side behind between the lines. What's the reversal effect of that happening? And I noticed a trend of trades that are in huge demand. Like trades are like one of the biggest things that we really need now. And of course, machines cannot replace that ever. I think not yet or never will, because the amount of error and efficiency is still there. Because with certain types of trades, it's difficult for machine to do it because then they things do malfunction and shut down. So you always gotta have people to know and learn how to work these things. Or of course, worst case, if it doesn't work, then you have to get down, get dirty, and really do the most difficult things. So it's really looking at what's really out there for me to get a better spot with less time and less funds. So it's really observing your options and really making sure what you're getting into, and then plan ahead with what industry you're going to, because with these markets and governments really subsidizing their wages and fees to much lower labor, eventually, obviously, with technology and the horizon, is for people to know that if you're not doing enough research and not doing enough planning your next 5 years, then it'll be very difficult for you to progress to what could be a better place for you and your loved ones to prosper. So it's really up to that. That's my take.
Yeah, and we've mentioned it a few times already, but there's a lot of buzz around AI taking over tasks. As I said, now McDonald's is experimenting with robots. I remember when the auto industry was full of people on the line. You had, one person doing this, another two, three people doing this. A lot of the auto industry has been taken over by AI. There are so many, people, can't really engineer uh, computer chips fast as an assisted intelligence machine can do. So, where do you see us going? Say, how do you see AI impacting personal growth and that hustle instinct?
So AI and hustle instinct together, I would say it's anything more positive than negative. I can foresee AI really just giving out the information you need, and with individuals learning how to use the tools properly in terms of the AI that are involved. There's like a lot of tools for different things, and when you get the hang of it, it just comes out to applying what works, what doesn't work. Because a lot of times we need to, let's say for example, we need to like do like open the computer and search it, but with the tool, you can just type it in less than 10 seconds of what you need help with. Excuse me, and then it will outline your solution potentially. And then with that solution you have, then you can definitely just put it into a different place and then just use it and then apply it right away. So it's literally looking at the amount of brain power and energy it takes to do all of that, and we acknowledge the fact that everything is now moving to a digital world. So I know I used to have books and journals where it's all paper, but I have the backup in case if I can bring my laptop or phone. So I just write it down and then just write it again on the computer to keep on both ends to make sure that I account for every note. But it's really understanding that this is meant to streamline certain things. But also, it cannot deny the fact that we need to just shut down our use of technology and just do the necessary intensive work involved outside of the whole technology device and usage. Just really be away from it because obviously we're on it more than ever. I'm sure you know it, James. Like back then, the only technology that we had back then was mostly TV or radio that we used. but now we're on most of our devices almost every day, and we really know that we're actually on it because we're so used to this kind of world where society is on something in their hands or on their phone. I noticed that like almost everywhere I go, I see it like something in their headphones and then at home they're their phone. So it's a way of living, but at the same time, I noticed with that happening, the hustle part will be dying out because then with the convenience, which a lot of times the having the convenience to have everything there, it's starting to really destroy what left a human we have left. So it's important to know that we need to use it as a tool. And a lot of times we don't use it. We use it to make it more convenient. So it's really making sure that we're not falling behind more of being reliant on convenience uh, than still continue to be what we are.
Do you think that perhaps we're relying too much on AI and not using our critical human skills? Uh, and how do we strike that balance between using these tools of convenience? I will admit, it's once you learn how to use it, I mean, they're amazing. So, you know, so how do you strike that balance? There are times when I go to my AI assistant before I started even looking up my own statistics.
Mhm. I would say it is really understanding the use of it. Let's say if you're mainly using it for let's say convenience. So convenience could be, let's say, like, oh, I want to order this and that, book this and that. So whatever that we used to do by phone or calling or texting, it can be streamlined to just mentioning on, let's say, like a Alexa or whatever, or a different AI voice interaction. So it's really looking at what things can I implement on a daily life, and then the rest, like for example, like workout, like working out, you cannot do in your brain. You have to physically do the workout. So it's looking at what preparations to be done, and then whatever you need to do physically, then that's easier. So it's really looking at what can we remove mentally, and then whatever physically need to do, you need to do it. And there's no non-negotiable, obviously, with that. So there's not everything can be done streamlined. Whatever physical is out there you need to do, like going out to drive or whatnot, or even just to go to a friend's place. I mean, yeah, you can do virtual, but obviously you want to visit them, see them for example. So there are things where that needs to be set and really be strict on it. Because if you're not, then you just trying to do everything with AI, then you're just not be in touch with your human connection, which is still a need. I believe the big fundamental of it is to whatever time we have left, we can dedicate it to other things that are important to us. So that's a big factor involved with incorporating it is to bring back what time that we missed because of these unnecessary things that we don't need to do because it's already streamlined for us. We just do it.
Now, you also champion mentorship. What makes a mentor uh, relationship truly transformative? And how does someone go about finding the right mentor?
I believe the right mentor comes down to being compassionate, assertive, and really have the heart to get people who have never even thought of a mentor, but really want to find a way how to live life a bit more, let's say, what's the word? I think more uh, progressively than just doing what I did, I made too many mistakes, which I mean, which is great. We want to make a lot of mistakes, but then we want to reduce the amount of mistakes because if we're not really learning the previous ones that we did, then we don't know who to reach out to and figure out why we're not doing this. So with having one and find one too, it's really looking at your list. Let's say example the mentor want to look at. They're successful. They're this. They're this and this. So whatever let's say 5, 10 bullet points you have, they use AI. Oh, here say ChatGPT. I want to find this mentor with these bullet points, and then they'll show ones that are like really out there to just someone that's just out there and starting. So it's really looking at all the options you have, and obviously you got to reach out to them and really get the value because with the mentor they have lives like us. They may not have a chance to give enough time to you, but as long as they can work on their time and find a way how to give some value to them, then they'll give you more of it back. And with a working relationship like that to start, it'll be really good. Because then once you build that with the mentor, then eventually, you, once once the mentee builds that relationship with the mentor, then once the mentee grows and really builds their empire and career or whatever goals they have, then they can figure out do I need them or not. But it's always good to have more than one. I would say not just have one. Have at least 2 to 3. My mentor, he has 3 maximum because having more is just too too much info overload and different opinions, and they want to have like a similar industry mindset. So I seen 3 is a good amount to have, and really making sure that all 3 are really meant to be intentional to help you grow, succeed, and accomplish what you want, and also help them too at the same time. So it's a synergetic and a reciprocated relationship.
Like I mentioned, a lot of guys, starting out, trying to start into entrepreneurship, might not have that physical or financial uh, uh, funds. In other words, to hire a mentor or coaching team. Are there some, low cost or maybe free, places that you can go and actually, find a mentor?
I've Well, for those who are looking for one, I would I would recommend just looking at your local community. I would really start local and then look at if you don't find one in local, then just look at AI and apply the kind of mentors in your industry or your career and look at that and contact them. So there's many ways to handle that. And it doesn't cost a lot to start. Obviously, the more higher up you're going to, and then eventually you would need to start paying more to the mentors that really dedicate to your time and really give personalized time and service to you and really give you a game plan that really accelerates everything from life to business or like that. So it's always best to look at ones that are out there. Just really looking at what's out there. Even choosing ones and then just absorb their content, really learn from them. And then if you find them on Facebook or social media, just try to build a relationship with them by just if you can find a way to email or even just personally direct message them saying, "Hey, I'm this. I really enjoy your content and really learning it and applying it," and then who knows, they could get back to you. But right now, it's just really learn the concept, really applying it, really putting it out there, and then building that relationship with them. And then that one day they could message you, and then when you find an event that they host, and then you meet them in person, then that would be a great thing to have. And then you meet the people that build him or people that are within that circle, and then you can expand your network. So all it takes is just choosing a few. If you can't meet them, just learn their content, and then when they have events, go to them. Could be free, could be paid, but I've always find that if there's a way to get close to them by like meet and greet or some kind of way to um, get close to them, just find out how to do it because the the more you know about how their events work and how they run things, they get a better understanding of how to approach it. So it's a lot of figuring out on that part. But then once you understand that, then it gets a bit easier in time to really select a mentor to help you.
Okay. Well, now, uh, if we have someone in the audience here who, has decided to get a little inspiration from our little conversation here, what are three concrete actions that they should commit to within the next 72 hours?
I'll say the first thing is looking at like building out your situation. Like just write down your financial, your mental, like write every aspect of it. Just one line. Like what's the one main line of all holistically? It could be spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, every part of it. What's your big problem? Then once you outline those things, the second part is to look at what can I plan for the next, well, now it's gonna be June soon. Your next 6 months to replan now. How can I improve all the six things? But also with the second part of the number two is to choose one that's extremely urgent to the point where if anything goes wrong, your life is over. So just really looking at like the second part, like what's the main one thing that you really need to take care of, that you know you need to do it, but you're scared to do it. Just take care of that first. And then the third part is to just to be an AI expert. If you can't figure ways how to find it free online or just learn it as you go, uh, I would say really implement AI as your new skill set. Just like in school, like you learn like science, math, technology. With depending on your doing business or career, I definitely recommend learning AI because now companies are looking at AI as a tool. So really looking at your um, your um, your main tools for AI, just really looking at how can you apply. Like example, I use Gemini and ChatGPT. Uh, those are those are my main two ones that I use to do almost everything. Just really observing like how you type certain things, how you observe how what all of the kinds of stuff you need, information, research, images, and all of that. So once you learn the basics, then just really dig deep and find capable people to guide you to ensure that you're going the right direction. So that's that.
Oh, okay. Now, before I let you go, you mentioned that you had a couple books. You mentioned I'm sure there's a website. So tell us about your books. How we can find you on uh, the web. What services you
Mhm.
offer. Kind of give us. This is your commercial.
Yeah, so I have books I've written. I've actually co-authored a lot of books. Let's see, five. So I have a sixth one. We're almost done the sixth one. It's a anthropology of authors that we're writing together to incorporate the success habits and routines that'll help us to write our books and showing the ways how getting writing done and also figuring figuring out ways how to get that done without days and weeks of just sticking out to write. Now we have technology involved. We can implement our minds and different stories and experiences to there, so we can be more efficient and get it done. Um, and then the other three books are in Amazon. They're out there. So if you search my full name on the screen there, Patrick Richard Garcia, there are 3 books that I co-authored. They're all within the personal development industry. And then the other two I've written, the first one that I've written was a marketing book to showcase the emerging concept of other people's businesses out there to really demonstrate that marketing is still a very key component of the world of business. And then my recent one that I wrote, the fifth book, is it's called The Change, Volume 22. It's really sharing a bit more depth about my story, and then really find a mentorship that helped me to lead to the whole development change and leading me to what I'm doing today, which is going out there writing and speaking. And I'm everywhere in social media. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. If you search my full name on Facebook, it's there. Patrick Richard Garcia, and my Instagram is the official Patrick R Garcia. And also, with what I offer is I offer one-on-one group coaching services, and with you want to read more into. I highly suggest till we get a call done, complimentary, to really look at what can I help you with in any area of life, and we can expand it from there. And I have different tiers of different ways I can help you to feel sure that whatever level of help you need, I am there to help you out. So it's really to really see what can be done. And yeah, that's
Now,
my
is that a
commercial.
website, or is that somewhere we can go to? How do they get in touch with you if they want a mentor, or just
Yeah, so, I'm actually, rebranding my website right now. It is truenorthvelocity.online. I'm still getting it completed, but it's active. Right now, it's almost done to complete, so I'll get that done. So it's truenorthvelocity.online. Everything's all online.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us tonight. I know it's a little later there where you are. So, uh, any plans for the weekend, the extended weekend?
We actually had an extensive weekend last week. It was a Victoria Day weekend, which is
Oh,
part of
that's
the
right.
Commonwealth
I'm
celebration.
sorry. I keep forgetting. Yeah, I'm thinking you're in Canada. That's right.
Yeah, yeah, don't worry, it's all good. It's pretty cool because we're, like, a week apart from our long weekend, so yours is definitely coming up.
so you get a chance to do this twice, more or less. Huh?
Yeah, yeah, when I get the chance to. I would say my long weekends mostly are just I would say in a while because 'cause I'm always, like, on the go and doing that. I actually enjoy, like, having a good amount of time off just to
Now,
to, uh, to reload and reflect. So it's really good just to learn how to decompress a bit.
do you have
It's really
friends and family to spend the holidays with?
In the States, I actually have a lot of friends in different states. I'm actually more like American and Canadian. I have a lot more friends down there than here. Pretty cool.
All right. All right. Well, hey, Patrick, it was nice having you on the program, man. I appreciate your time, as I said, and as you progress further along, we hope to keep up with you, and you don't get too big for us.
Oh, no worry. I mean, if you want me back, I'll be honored to be back again. This is great. I'm really glad you had me here to show, and the audience there. It's great to have your time watching me really sharing my thoughts and everything else I shared. So I appreciate you all coming out on a late night. I mean, for those in the West Coast, but for me it's late. So appreciate you all being out here. So thank you, and thank you James as well for having me here.
No worries, man. I would definitely have you back. AI is only progressing, so you know we have to keep up. Also, even us old guys have to keep up. So you have a great night, my man. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
You too. Take care.
Uh, yeah. So that was our guest for tonight. Patrick Richard Garcia. Uh, Great young man. As you said, go on to his website, check out his books, his different philosophies, and if you want to keep up with AI, this is definitely one of the young men that you should try to follow and keep up with. So once again, on this Friday evening, thanks again for watching us here on We the People. We appreciate your time. Thank you, and we shall see you next Friday. Have a safe and happy holiday, especially safe, and we will see you this time next Friday. Have a good weekend, everyone.